Welcome back to Deep Dive. Today, well, we're not just looking at any document. We're digging into the global privacy policy for Vibes LLC, the social networking and content monetization platform. Okay, so let's unpack this. Our mission here is to really cut through all that legal speak and figure out what this policy actually means for your data, especially if you're using it outside the U.S., like a global user.
Exactly. Privacy policies, they often feel like a maze. All right. But this one, it's actually a fascinating case study. It gives a really detailed picture of what a truly user-focused approach to privacy could look like. We're going to look at what makes it stand out and, why those details really matter for you.
Okay, so the first thing that really jumps out at me is their big commitment to global privacy. Vibes isn't just like picking one law to follow. They explicitly say they're aligning with a whole list: GDPR, CCPA, PDPA, LGPD, you name it, Brazil, India, South Africa. And the crucial part is they state that where laws differ, the stricter standard applies. Now, that sounds like a huge promise, a big operational lift.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It really is. And this global commitment, it signals a pretty proactive stance. For you, the user, it means that even if your local laws maybe aren't as tough, Vibes is aiming to give you rights, often found in places like, say, the EU. So it's like a high baseline for everyone, which is interesting. And this whole approach, it shapes how they collect data. So they get the standard stuff: personal data, name, email, but also sensitive data. Now think biometrics, maybe ID scans, but, and this is key, only with your explicit consent. You have to specifically agree. Then there's usage data, financial data handled by PCI DSS compliant providers, which basically means very secure payment handling, the industry standard. And of course, content data, your photos, messages. But the standout claim, the one a lot of users will notice, is we never sell personal data.
Wow. Okay, that is a huge claim, especially for a social platform. Really makes you think about their business model of data selling is off the table. So beyond just collecting data, how are they actually keeping it safe, from all the cyber threats we're always hearing about?
Right, and that's where their security section gets, well, pretty compelling. They're using strong encryption. For data moving across the internet, that's TLS 1.3, and for data stored on their servers, AES 256. These are essentially top-tier military-grade type protections. They also use what's called a zero-trust access model. Basically, nobody inside or outside gets automatic trust. Access is strictly need to know. Plus, they get checked out every year by third parties audits like SOC2 Type 2 and ISO 27001. These are independent seals of approval, really, showing their security is up to scratch against tough global standards. And if, something does go wrong, like a breach, they commit to telling people within 72 hours. That lines up with the best practices globally.
That level of detail and security is, impressive. Makes you think about how far privacy tech has actually come. But okay, beyond outside threats, what about how they use the data internally? Especially with AI, it's everywhere now. How does this Vibes policy handle the tricky ethics around AI and user data?
Yeah, that's a critical point these days. Their policy says AI features things like content filters, personalization feeds. They're subject to specific checks, bias audits, fairness checks, transparency logs. So they're trying to document and track how the AI makes decisions, aiming for accountability. They also promise to watermark or flag AI-generated stuff, and they straight up prohibit deepfakes or manipulative content. Which leads to the big question, right? With all these safeguards in place, what kind of actual, hands-on control do you have over your own data according to this policy?
Well, it seems like you get quite a bit of control. Depending on where you are, you can ask to see your data, get it corrected if it's wrong, or even use the right to be forgotten, basically, ask them to delete it.
Yeah.
You can also restrict or object to how they process your info, opt out of automated decisions and profiling, that's a big one, and pull your consent back anytime. And here's something pretty unique. Users might even be able to ask for their data to be stored only within their specific region. Region-locked storage. That adds another layer of control.
And their approach to sharing data is also very specific, trying to limit who sees it. They say they only share with necessary third parties those secure payment guys, services that verify identity for fraud prevention, KYC and ML checks, and cloud or analytics providers they've vetted. Importantly, it's all under strict data processing agreements, DPAs. That means those third parties are legally obligated to protect your data too. And crucially, they state, no third-party marketing without explicit opt-in. You have to say yes first.
Okay, that is a relief. I think many of us are just tired of random ads popping up. But what about law enforcement? That's always a concern. If the police ask for data, how transparent are they?
Good question. They state they need a proper legal order, a subpoena, court order, a warrant before they hand anything over. And they also commit to notifying the user about the request, unless the law prohibits them from doing so. To back this up, they publish annual transparency reports. They actually detail how many requests they got and how they responded. So this level of detail, it really empowers you, the user. You can make more informed choices knowing exactly where you stand.
So wrapping this up then, what does all this mean for you, the listener, trying to navigate this complex digital world?
Well, I think this deep dive shows a policy that's doing more than just ticking legal boxes. It details specific, pretty robust measures, from following diverse global laws and that no-selling data pledge, to the advanced security, the ethical AI rules, and importantly, significant user control. It almost serves as a kind of blueprint, What users should ideally look for when they're choosing which platforms to trust and use.
Yeah, it's a really powerful reminder that you do have agency, you have rights over your digital footprint. Makes you wonder, what if every company took privacy this seriously, with this much transparency and commitment to user rights? Imagine the trust they could build.